Today's lesson is on trade. We're going to be talking about the operation of trade in the Greek world. And for this class, I want to emphasize that previously we had talked about trade as it involved the Egyptian government. And so we're going to be able to see that there were actually quite a good amount of differences between trade in Greece and trade in Egypt. Now, it's important to understand that trade in Greece existed for quite a long time. We have evidence of trade between Greece and mainly an island called Crete. And this was obviously going on since about 1600 BC. So even prior to the Mycenaean era, there was trade between mainland Greece and the island of Crete. And this is very important because it appears that Crete had almost exclusive trade rights for a long period of time with mainland Greece. However, about the Mycenaean horizon, so beginning about 1500 BC to 1400, we began to see an increasing amount of trade with a group of traders called the Phoenicians. Now, the Phoenicians were a trading empire that was located along the coast of Canaan, or what is now Lebanon and Syria. So Greece did enjoy a wide range of trade, but that trade came to an end with the Mycenaean collapse in 1200 to 1150 BC. Now, after a short pause, about 875 to about 850 BC, we do begin to see an increase in trade and a revival in trade between different Greek cities and also trade between the different sections of the Mediterranean. In fact, it's interesting to note that some forms of Greek pottery and Greek different Greek items. Let me just summarize with that. Greek items have been found in Italy and in Sicily and in also parts of Phoenicia. So we also see items from these other locations inside Greece during the Dark Age. And definitely it once again explodes during the Archaic period, in which we see a much larger trading network. And it's very important to understand that trade was not the same in Greece as it was in Egypt. As I was just saying and indicating that for Egypt, trade was restricted to the palace and to the elite. The government had really the best logistical base and support in order to carry out trade, and many of the goods that came in were reserved for the use of the palace or for the military and the religious estate. There was not a lot of trade or items that came directly to the people. It might come through indirect trade between the people and the palace, but the palace operated it. However, in Greece, trade was pretty much dominated after the Mycenaean era by independent merchants. These were people who decided to take it upon themselves to go out and become independently wealthy, and it began to engage in trade. And this led to a phenomenon called the big man. The big man was the person who was able to accumulate the largest amount of wealth within a small community, and then was able to distribute that wealth to the community, and thus gain the allegiance and the following of those people because of that ability. So there was a rather entrepreneurial or very capitalistic type of drive in the ancient Greek system, because it came directly as a result not of government forces, but as a result of private pursuit. Now, it's also very important to understand the role that trade played in ancient Greece, because it actually helped it emerge from the Dark Age. We know that trade was resumed with the Phoenicians. We begin to see that, and I actually spelled that wrong. We actually begin to see that around 750, the Phoenicians introduced their alphabet to the Greek world through trade. And if you're trading with somebody, you need to be able to understand them and communicate on a basic level. And so we begin to see the emergence of the Phoenician alphabet come into the Greek world, and that would actually eventually result in the English language and what we understand as syllabic languages, where you have an alphabet and you pronounce each individual letter rather than a symbol-based language like cuneiform or hieroglyphics. Now, that motivated and increased Greek culture to a high degree. And so definitely about 750, we've seen Greece emerge not only from the Dark Age economically, but also through language. Thank you for your attention.